Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today, well folks, today is a Friday. It will be a conventional get 'em up out of town version of the show. We're going to let you open it up and talk about whatever you'd like to talk about at all. A number of topics have passed our way since the last time we were able to completely open it up to you. By the way, it's been at least 2 months since we've been able to do that. Whether that's been in the area of thyroid, we certainly have talked a lot about it. You may have some additional questions on it. How about eye correction problems? And after having had the opportunity to hold the eye treatment seminar that Dr. Kondrak led and championed just literally a week ago, we could have issues regarding that. Oh, we've had some other pretty fantastic guests. By the way, I'm anxious to find out what happened up there last night at the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy Group. How did it all go? If anybody was up there last night, cares to give us a call to tell us about Dr. Richard Versendahl and his presentation on contact reflex analysis, which was the topic. This gentleman owns that topic, CRA. I'd really love to hear from you. We'd all love to hear from you. You can give us a call today, too. I've got a number of things in the news. It's been a while since I've perused the news and brought you some hot topics. I'll do that for you. All under the rubric of it is time to get them up out of town this weekend. And by the way, as gloomy as it has been around here, I guess we're supposed to brighten up, lighten up, and heat up this weekend. Sunday, high of 82. Bill says it's so. It must be so. If in the course of our discussion today, you do want to call in and set that agenda, make a comment, question, however you want to pose it, the number to do so, as always, will be 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll keep an ear out for you and listen for the knock on the door. We'll let you in the store. Hope you enjoy spending the day with us here at the 8 o'clock hour. Now, as the calendar moves on, and it is moving on, let's see what the rest of the month holds in store here for us today. When Monday rolls around, oh, by the way, Sunday, I see a little note here. I'm going to be on the Dr. Ed Kondrak show. When he left town last Friday, he was on his way to Florida, and then he was going, where is this place, by the way? He's going to Latvia to participate, to speak at a seminar on eye color. I think I said that right. Not on like the color of your eyes, but the use of color as a therapy. Oh, color therapy, that was it. Anyway, he's out of the country right now. He's supposed to be contacting me via Skype. This is interesting. On Sunday evening at 8 o'clock our time, his show goes off as planned at 5 o'clock Phoenix time, while he calls the station from Latvia. Hey, there's a lot of ifs in there. I'm hoping it goes off without a hitch. Anyway, the little notation I now pass on to you. I'm on the Dr. Ed show on Sunday evening, talking about eye issues once again. On Monday, getting you ready for Monday now, Cass is coming back. Now, Cass was with us a little over a week ago, talking about, at the time, the Japanese debacle with respect to the power plant issues over there and the escaping of radioactivity into the atmosphere. which he made a pretty good case for the fact that it's here, folks. And although you're not hearing about it, there are going to be negative effects from it. During that conversation that we had about the Japanese problem, he mentioned, just in passing, just a little bit of a notation, he used the phrase medical X-ray exposure. And that's sort of one of these jumpy words for me, because as much as I've been on the front lines trying to bring to you this issue of X-ray exposure, what to do about it, how to lessen it, how to take charge, not as though the issue of medical X-rays is a non sequitur. Look, you're going to need them. There are going to be times when you're going to have, really in your best medical interest, some of these exposures. The frequency that you're having them brought to you, and not as though there's a real conversation about it. Your doctor just goes, order this, order that, repeats this, repeats that. Pretty soon, you're getting some real exposure to some harmful stuff. Anyway, Cass is going to come aboard with us on Monday to talk about X-ray, medical X-ray exposure. Oddly enough, when I was off air with Cass, I was saying, well, you know, Cass, ever since we had John Goffman on the show, and in all his writings, this has been a hot topic with my listeners, and he said something that caught me a little off guard. He said, "Hey, who's John Goffman?" Well, okay, maybe he doesn't know who John Goffman is. I can enlighten him on Dr. Goffman. We'd like to be enlightened on what he feels would be a good way to either help prevent the negative effects that comes from an up-and-coming medical X-ray procedure that you're going to have, or I think a little larger group of you out there who have had prior X-ray exposures, especially to CAT scanning, or how about this one, how about cardiac catheterizations, where they have a fluoroscopy, and the cardiologist, not even a radiologist, a cardiologist, has got his foot on the foot pedal, which every time he pushes his foot down is turning on the X-ray exposure, and he leaves that foot down as if he's driving a Maserati. I'm telling you, this is nasty stuff. John Goffman said it was so. We always believed Dr. Goffman. Now let's find out what Goffman never told us, which was what to do about it, both in a prophylactic sense and after the fact sense. Cass Ingram will be our guest on Monday. I hope you'll be with us to spend some time with Cass on the matter. On Wednesday, Stuart Tompick is going to be here. He has been here many times before. He's actually been in Pittsburgh a few times. I met him on one of those occasions, giving a lecture out here in the South Hills. Anyway, he's going to be, he's a representative from the Nordic Naturals Company. Of course, they make fish oils, and the topic, certainly, I think I'm getting the gist of what we may be discussing. His byline for our Wednesday show is going to be surf or turf, not surf and turf, surf or turf, which is healthier. So that'll be coming for next week. Just flipping the calendar into June, I get Susan Smith-Jones coming up. Still can't tell you what the topic will be, but nonetheless, she will be here. And then, as I mentioned just the other day, because having had Dr. Brownstein on our show last Friday, off air, we were able to get him to come back. He's booked very heavily as we move into the summer months. I think vacation time with the family, as well as previous engagements, speaking engagements. He's going to be with us all the way into the month of July, July 8th. He's going to come back and talk about one of his other books this time. I think it's a pretty controversial issue. I don't know how you stand on the matter of salt consumption, but I'm certainly aware of the salt scare out there, literally provoked by the medical profession. And as to whether or not there's validity to that scare, I'll just say in a nutshell, there is, in a small percentage of cases, but the vast majority of people really don't have that concern. Yet the scare is universal. They're screaming it from the rooftops: stay away from salt, don't consume salt, lessen your salt, decrease your sodium. How about this for a topic? This is right out of the nom de plume of David Brownstein. Name of his book: Salt Your Way to Health. That should give it away just a little bit, huh? Dr. Brownstein coming with us. into the month of July. We'll keep bringing David back. His books are excellent. They do serve a great public service, and we'll always support David with disseminating those books. By the way, he was nice enough to send me his newest book. He sent me a copy of his newest book. Here it is. He had mentioned on the air about a new book. I was unaware of it, so this now makes 10. Here's the title of the new one, and we'll go over it one of these days. We'll bring him on to talk about it. How about this for a title? The Soy Deception. Boy, if that doesn't give away what might be contained in this book, what title would? The Soy Deception by Dr. David Brownstein and Cheryl Schenefeld. Anyway, Dr. David Brownstein. All right. We've opened it up to you today. We're going to let you come on in the store, and anything on your mind is okay with me. Let's take a short break. In the interim, you just might want to call up and get it going. When we come back, I do have a list of in-the-news, in-your-face items that I think, I've harvested a few of them. They're noteworthy. You'll see what I mean. I'll start the lead here, and if at any point you want to jump in, come on ahead. 412-825-6262 is the number to do that. That's 412-825-6262. Be back in just a moment.
This is Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what to eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith, let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock right here on KHB 620. It is a Friday version of the show. It's a get 'em up out of time version of the show. Every Friday we try to allow you to come ahead and really give us a call and check in with us and find out what's on your mind. You can put that in the form of a question or a comment. The number to do so is 412-825-6262. We'll be waiting to hear your knock on the door, and I will let you in the store as soon as I do hear the knock and a comment. I wanted to do sort of a look back just to the previous show. I hope you enjoyed our show, by the way, on Wednesday with Jim Navarro. And Jim has been on our show many times before. The topic is always a somber one. This particular one was flavored with so many other additional emotions, all because of finally the release. Well, it's been out for a while, but certain people around the country got a chance to get a copy of the movie Cut Poison and Burn, literally a documentary done on the life of his son, Thomas Navarro, who as a youngster, 4-year-old, 3-year-old, diagnosed with medulloblastoma. The saga of this family and this poor boy's quest to first try to obtain medical treatment, find out they couldn't get the medical treatment that they wanted, and then literally because the law was after them, they had to run. They were on the lam every single time back in the day. This is in the year 2000, 2001. Every time I spoke to the family, I actually had them on the air frequently. It was almost like every week or month, where are you hiding out now? And they never could tell us. They just said, well, we're easily tucked away here or there, because the authorities were after them for child neglect. They did not want their son Thomas to receive chemotherapy or radiotherapy after the complications and risks of those two procedures were explained to them. And they wanted to have an opportunity to get treated by Dr. Stanislav Brzezinski through his anti-neoplaston treatments there in Houston, Texas. Unfortunately, that was the real rub. An adult could have shown up and asked Brzezinski for that treatment, because at least when it comes to adults, they are allowed to choose their therapy even in these perilous times. But what we learned from the Thomas Navarro saga, and now documented in the film, and I mean done well, is the precarious predicament that parents are in and don't even realize it, that when it comes to their children, they do not have the legal authority to determine what treatments that child is going to receive for their medical conditions. Whereas adults, they do have that capability. They are allowed to decide how they want to be treated. As a child, they just thought that their children were it was decided by them as a parent what their child will receive and won't receive. And dear ladies and gentlemen, that is not the case, and the Thomas Navarro story certainly reveals it. This movie, Cut, Poison, and Burn, a very good job done on this topic, is now working its way around the country. At this stage of the game, it's having various viewings and showings throughout the country. I know that Jim was talking to us about the New York showing, and then there's a Washington, D.C. showing. We're going to try to get one here. I think the earliest we could do it might be September or something like that. But ultimately, there's a unique little distribution. When this movie finally gets to become available to you, the public, they're going to sell the DVD, the movie as a DVD. The DVD, they're already talking about the price. They say the discounted price is going to be $9.99. But then how about this? They have a unique distribution proposal. It looks as though it's more than just a proposal. It looks as though this, in fact, will probably be the way that the movie gets distributed. Next is the name, N-E-H-S-T. I find that is the initial spelling of the word next. N-E-X-T was spelled N-E-H-S-T initially. And I'll just read you this little paragraph. I think it's a unique distribution method. I think I've never heard of such a thing. It goes something like this. Next feels that this film is just too important to follow traditional distribution methods, and frankly to ask everyone to pay for. Therefore, we have decided that Cut, Poison, Burn will be released in an equally important and respectful manner to the consumer. In an effort to make the film readily available to the largest global audience, we are distributing the film in an innovative method. Now here it comes. In which it will be purchased for digital download at any, and I'll underline the word at any cost. That's right, this letter goes on to say. The consumer can opt to pay whatever they think it is worth, or nothing at all. It is important, the importance of reaching the largest number of people is the ultimate goal, and we are certain it will be supported. Then it goes on to talk about the DVD and the fact that, I mean, if you just wanted to purchase it outright, it will be at a discounted price of $9.99. Now, at this stage of the game, it is not available to you, the public, at all. I'm just getting you, allowing you to become aware of how the distribution, when it finally does hit the public, how it will come. And I don't think I've ever heard of or seen a distribution plan like that before, where you'll be able to download this and you can decide what it's worth. I'm hoping, by the way, that many people download this and pay much more than the $9.99 price. Hopefully, maybe even as a donation toward the up-and-coming issues that I think Jim was alluding to the other day, and I'm going to talk about in just here in a moment. But I need to share with you the plan, at least, for this movie, Cut, Poison, Burn. It was done as good as any documentary I've ever seen. And rather than trying to describe it to you, I'll let you. By the way, I have a copy of this in my office. I do have a DVD player associated with my computer. If you would like to see this movie and you don't want to wait for the Pittsburgh showing, if there's to be one, or the availability to download it, I'll be happy to share it with you. Come on in my office. I'll pull my computer out and I'll put it over in the corner somewhere, and it takes about, I think it's a 58-minute or 50-minute to 58-minute length. It is lengthy, but it is jam-packed with information. And bring a box of Kleenex. It's a tearjerker, folks. It really does it grabs you. It's very emotional. You will become so in looking at this. And then at the end of this movie, I think, as Jim told me before, he said to me, look, he said, whenever you watch this, be prepared to become enraged and get angry, because it's going to affect you. And doggone it, he was right. It did so. By the end of this movie, hopefully you'll be enraged. Now, what I was saying a moment ago, plans for the future, just to give you an additional look. Nobody gets these looks, folks. You are way ahead of the game by paying attention to this issue on this particular show. We've had a special relationship with the Navarro family ever since I first met Thomas when they came to Pittsburgh back in that day. Of course, when they came to Pittsburgh, Thomas, by all outward appearances, he was doing very well. I mean, he was a young boy. He was active as all get out. That was the first time I saw him. The second and last time I saw him was actually in Houston. Once the child was able to get approval and could legally receive the anti-neoplastom therapy, way too late in the game, I saw this child, as you'll see the child at the end of this movie, when literally this was at the terminal stages of the disease. And by the way, this child, originally diagnosed with medulloblastoma, didn't die from medulloblastoma. He died because of another neurological tumor that occurred as a result, a direct result of the chemotherapy that he was compelled to receive in order to allow this child to get the anti-neoplastom therapy from Dr. Brzezinski. So this will equally anger you, and when you see the child at the end of the line, that emotional grabber will be one you'll never forget, and you too will become enraged. Now, the sort of behind the scenes of this that no one knows about, but I'm letting you in on it, Pittsburgh. Talking to Jim, this is going to the political arena. Of course, it's already been in the political arena on one go-around, which was to try to get the Thomas Navarro Patients' Rights Act passed. And this was nothing more than the ability for there to be a law now to allow parents to be able to make decisions, medical decisions, that those decisions be binding on the kind of treatment that their children will receive. Right now, you do not have that ability. It is not the law. The law is others will decide for that child. You will not, parent, you will not. And so the Thomas Navarro Patients' Rights Act, which failed first go-around, is attempting to make its second go-around at this time, as a matter of fact. But also in the offing, and what you didn't know about, is a political party is being, I guess it's being proposed at this point. It's not really an entity as we speak, but I know in talking to Jim that it is forming very rapidly. You'll hear about it. When you do, you've got to remember that we first brought it to you here, and that the name of this party will be, now you've heard of the Tea Party, and you know what they stand for. Now you're going to hear of what will become known as the Canary Party. The Canary Party. And although I have the documentation for the formation of this party that was nice enough, Jim emailed it to me so that I would be sort of on the ground floor. I'm just going to read you the opening paragraph of a rather lengthy group of papers on this subject. But I think by the end of it, you'll be put on notice about what you'll be hearing in the future. It goes something like this. The time has come for a change. The mounting crisis in the health of children and other vulnerable groups has not only been ignored by medical authorities, it has been suppressed. As parents, citizens, and advocates for the health of future generations, we must rise up to call attention to this crisis and take action to end it. In nominally democratic societies, which sadly are increasingly corrupted by the power of entrenched interests and the economy of influence that surrounds the medical industrial complex, we can most directly affect change by mobilizing for political action in order to take action against these corrupt forces. It is time to come together to form the Canary Party. And of course, that was just a position paper, sort of a mission statement. The rest of the papers I will not share with you at this point. They really are not for public release at this time, but I've given you a look, once again, behind the curtain at what is up and coming, and you will be hearing about it. One thing I've learned about Jim Navarro, he never shies away from a battle, and he takes this very personal. You, we hope, might take this personal also and become involved when you hear about the Canary Party in your neighborhood. Okay, enough about cut, poison, burn. Let's take another short break. When we come back, I do have things in the news, folks. I'm going to fire away, and I'll bring to your attention some things that have been sitting on the back burner, some relatively fresh, some maybe a little older, but because I've heard of these many times as I was driving in my vehicle, but now bringing you some additional documentation of them. Also, too, you may want to give us a call to give your own 2 cents worth on whatever it is that you got on your mind. 412-825-6262 is the number to do that. That's 412-825-6262. We'll be back in a moment.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, M.D. is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on a Friday morning version, get 'em up out of town version of the show, where we inviting you, if you'd like to give it a scream at us, to come on in and ask a question, make a comment. Anything on your mind is okay with me. The number to do that, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Now, I've got a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. They're in the news items, and they some won't really surprise you, others just might. One of these in the news, in your face items, and it really comes out of Joe Mercola is so busy working his website. He's got a wonderful website. He's got a great newsletter, and I think he puts out about 3 or 4 different newsletters a week. The guy, I don't think he has much time to do doctoring anymore, because whatever it takes to keep this website going and this newsletter going, it requires, if not him, he's got a full-time staff at doing this. But one of the big things for Joe Mercola, and I think he's taken it on, and I'm glad he has been on the GMO issue. Once again this week, one of the emails, and in keeping with a theme that we've continued to bring to you here over, many years, and certainly now that Joe has taken it on as a personal matter, because it appears as though it has become one for him, we'll entitle this The Fox. Well, I'll entitle it as Joe did. The fox is yet again allowed to guard the hen house. What's meant by this? Well, in the most recent Joe Mercola email that many of you probably do get, you can't help but have noticed what he entitles, the latest development is truly the epitome of a bad idea. So what do you mean by the fox guarding the hen house? Well, here it is. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, is the agency responsible for assessing the environmental impacts of genetically modified crops. Now, the GMO mantra has been one that Joe has taken on. We have mentioned many of the articles he's already written on this subject, but now a new twist. He goes on to say the USDA, although they've been charged with the environmental impacts of genetically modified foods, they have not been very efficient in this regard. So, in an effort to make the environmental reporting process more timely, efficient, and cost-effective, they've decided to create a 2-year-long, this is the USDA now, a 2-year-long pilot program that allows biotech companies like Monsanto to conduct their own environmental assessments. According to Joe, the decision is an absolute abomination of massive conflicts of interest. That's probably at best. They've put the fox in charge of the hen house. They've allowed them, are going to allow them in what they're calling this 2-year pilot program, to do research on the environmental impacts of genetically modified foods, when they, in fact, Monsanto being the first. Now, there are others, but all these folks have a patented item. This is the issue, folks. I don't know if it came out to you in the last time we brought this matter up. And when we did bring it up, the article that I had brought to your attention on that day, it's about 2 weeks old now, were the 8 foods that you should never eat. Do you remember that discussion? By the way, see if you remember what the list is. I'm going to tell you what the list of 8 is in just a moment. But the last time we had talked about this, it was Joe getting pretty fired up about bringing to your attention what you should never eat, because the likelihood 90 to 95% of that particular crop is genetically modified, which would have a potential, at least, for some pretty significant health consequences. What I informed you of back then, it doesn't appear in this article, and why not? I don't know, because I think it's a salient point, is that these folks hold the patent on the seeds and of this product. It is their creation. It's a frankenfood, folks. They invented it. It's their invention that they're now utilizing, and they will not use and allow research to be done on their patent by anyone else other than them. So I don't know whether or not the USDA sort of just put their hands up in the air and said, well, hey, we can't get it done in any other way. Why don't we just give it to the boys here and let them do their own research, because they're the only ones that really can do it, the only ones that they'll allow doing it. But, of course, the issue of conflict of interest is so pervasive at this point. How could you expect Monsanto to give you a fair shake when their economic livelihood is on the line? What, they're going to come back with a report talking about how detrimental the use of GMO products are for the environmental impact of genetically modified crops, which is the idea behind the research? Are they actually going to tell you, we're doing a bad job out here, this stuff is deadly, it's dangerous, look out, we're really sorry? So you can already expect what the results of this are going to be. It's just nuts that the USDA is allowing the fox to guard the hen house. And you'll be hearing more about it. They say, and so you can see that Joe is really getting emotional about this. He says another major consideration is that Tom Vilsack, now he's the Secretary of Agriculture, he says Vilsack has been a major supporter of Monsanto and a strong believer in genetically engineered pharmaceutical crops, especially pharmaceutical corn. And so, what the heck? How do you expect to get a fair shake, he would claim, when the deck is so stacked against the consumer and in favor of big pharma in the form of Monsanto. So, more to come on the subject. Joe just thought we'd like to hear. They've done it again yet. They put the fox in charge of guarding the hen house. Can you guess how the research is going to come out? Can you just take a guess? Now, I said a moment ago, do you remember when we first brought this article to your attention? It was a couple weeks ago when I talked about, I didn't, Joe did. I was thankful that Joe did bring it to our attention. There were 8 foods, he said, that you should never, ever eat because as much as, here we go again now, 90 to 95% of the major U.S.-grown crops are genetically engineered. So I bring this to your attention again, I guess maybe to bring a pop quiz. This is a pop quiz. What are the 8 foods? Well, I'll give you the list of the 8, but I'm going to give you the list of the 9 because as of 2011, there's a new one. There's another one that you can add to your list. By the way, this list appears to be growing, and if you think for one moment that it's going to stop at the number 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, unless something comes into this mix to change it, and how would you expect any change to occur if the research that they're basing decisions on is coming right from the very industries who are going to gain financially from the success of genetically modified products? Anyway, you see the conundrum here, do you not? So the list of 8 to bring to your attention, here they are. The 8 foods you should never eat are corn, soy, canola, cottonseed, zucchini, crookneck squash, there's a new one on me, Hawaiian papaya, sugar derived from sugar beets. Now that's the list of 8. You ready for number 9? The one that you didn't know about? Because it's a new GMO crop as of 2011. We're in 2011, folks, so the new one added to the list, now 9. Not 8, but it's 9. The 9th one is alfalfa. I can't recall going to the store to buy my alfalfa. However, I'm going to guess that in processed foods, you're going to find the alfalfa come up and be found there. And when you do, as time marches on, the percentage of that crop will probably parallel the 90 to 95%, or who knows by that time what the percentage will actually be. The fox is guarding the hen house. Look out. Okay. Take another short break, folks. I'm getting a lot of breaks so I can find my paperwork and get it lined up for you. I've got another hot news item to bring to your attention when we return. This one, what will be? How about this one? We'll make this one on Viagra. Viagra is in the news. Hey, you having trouble hearing me out there? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Viagra will make you deaf, as it turns out. Can you hear me? Come on back in a moment.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's through the Spirit. The blessings of through the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith, but through the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Through the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Through the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health here on KHB 620. Now, we're here each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. Today, we're with you on a Friday morning version of the show. It is a get 'em up, out-of-town version of the show where we'd like you to give us a call and maybe set the agenda. Anything on your mind is okay with me, question or comment. Well, we do have a knock on the door. Come on, the store. Hello, and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Doc?
I'm doing well. How can I help you today?
Well, you ever hear of Percy Slicer? He's the farmer in Canada that took Monsanto's on. For 7 years, $350,000. He lived through hell, okay? But he won 2 big cases up there, which they don't tell you about, you know? And he speaks all over the world. He's speaking about this genetically modified food. There isn't a crop in Canada that isn't contaminated. And just go on, like he says. Once you let the genie out of the bottle, never put it back in.
It's a tough one. No, I'm not familiar with the gentleman. You mean he actually went up against Monsanto and won?
Yes. I got a DVD I'll send you as long as you promise to send it back. It was on freespeechtv.org, or if you get Big TV or Direct TV, they have free speech where they only take money from people, not from the government and not from the corporations. They have dozens and dozens of programs like this, this food, things like that. But it's just so bad, out of control. They threaten his life. They got the farmers that are, every farmer don't talk to the farmer anymore. Everybody's full of hate. Same thing, I have a friend as a farmer in Indiana. Same thing. When you talk to your neighbor and that, you're scared to say one word. They're just everywhere. It's just terrible.
Well, I'd love to. I'd like to bring him on the show. Give me some information on the fella. I usually get my crack staff, which by the way is me. I usually run them down, and I wouldn't mind giving it a try to get him on the show. If you took on Monsanto and won, I want to talk to you.
Yeah,
All right.
Money for sure. I'll leave a message at your office. I'll get the address, and I'll mail this DVD. They'll make your hair stand up. Let me tell you what's going on. They fly over your farm. They spray it at night, and then they send you a bill for like $30,000 because you used seeds from another farmer that had something in it. It's just terrible. But the story's just unbelievable.
Oh, I know that there's a heck of a story behind it. I didn't know that Monsanto ever lost. I'm very much interested because this guy finally won, and I hadn't heard a thing about it. Joe never mentioned anything about it.
Two cases. When he won is he had his attorney for years and years, and he decided to put trespassing signs up, okay? And then his attorney told him, as his granola from other farms were coming in on his farm, hire somebody else to stick it, okay? He charged like $680. Took it to court. They won the case. You have to pay people to take that out of your property. Now you're allowed to charge you. I know farmers. They get that farmer magazine. They don't even mention Percy Schmeisser. They don't want to mention one word about the two big cases he went up there. But they have people in like Rumsfeld, Ashcroft, over 100 people in prominent places in the government. I mean, they're hard to beat.
Well, it seems like this is really an issue that you've taken an interest in. Please act as my liaison. Bring me information. I'll run it down. I'll get his name. Your first name is Herky. Is that what you said?
Percy Schmeisser. You can call Free Speech TV and talk to them. I paid the epicenter donation, and I paid like $155 just to get that film, but it's really worth it because so many people don't even have a clue who Monsanto is.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, you send me along whatever information you can. I promise, ladies and gentlemen, and I promise you, I'll try to run it down. I'll try to get Herky on the show.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. All right. Hey, I didn't know Monsanto lost. Oh, so I'm feeling pretty good, aren't you? They actually lost one. You'll never hear about it, folks. But we'll try to bring it to you. All right, speaking of bringing things to you, this one I think you did hear about, because I did hear about it in the mass media. These are sort of those little things that the news shows like to bring on just as before they cut for commercial. But it always catches my interest. This is a byline. Those little blue pills may have some unintended side effects, this article goes on to say. And this is an article that, is a commentary on an article that's published in the journal called The Laryngoscope. I'm not familiar with the journal. I am familiar with laryngoscopes. It's sort of what an anesthesiologist uses to do his job, But, hey, forget about that for the moment. These little blue pills. Namely, those little blue pills may have some unintended side effects. Namely, the inability to hear after taking them. It seems that 47 suspected cases of rapid hearing loss. Now, I'm going to underline the word rapid. Rapid hearing loss have been linked to Viagra, as well as similar drugs like Cialis and Levitra, according to the Telegraph, which is where this article appeared in. However, 223 other reported cases in the U.S. were excluded from the study because of lack of detail. According to the new study, which I mentioned is found in the journal called Laryngoscope, experts feel that the problem is serious enough to warrant further warnings by doctors. The conclusions made in this article were these. Here comes the closing statement on the conclusion. There is increasing evidence that PDE5 inhibitors, that is the group designation given to the Viagra, Cialis, Levitra group of ED drugs, may induce sensorineural hearing loss via plausible physiological mechanisms. There needs to be more awareness of the disabling side effect among healthcare professionals responsible for prescribing this drug. You'll hear more about this, folks. It has been now, I'm going to say, 5 or 6 years. The last time that these PDE5s were in the news, Viagra was the one that was mentioned, but at the time, and it's still operational. I believe it's still one of the cautioning side effects of Viagra was the first articles were called blue light. That maybe that's why they make these Viagra pills blue, because you literally see blue or can see blue, or having as a side effect of the frequent use of Viagra the ability to see blue hue around images. And then the next article that I brought to your attention, this was 5 or 6 years ago now, was that blindness could be caused by the use of Viagra. And this was documented in a very similar fashion to what I'm finding here right now, and the doctors were cautioned by the article that I read at that time to be aware of this in prescribing Viagra. In a way, I guess humorous, but not necessarily humorous, is the patient recounting their personal histories at that time. And I can remember reading quite vividly a patient, many, not just one, many patients describing how, well, they had this blue vision that they were having in the one eye, and then after a while they went blind in that eye, and then, wouldn't you know, they got blue vision in the other eye, and doggone it if after a while they didn't go blind in that eye too. So at the time I was thinking, what the heck? How much time has transpired here? How much longer did the person continue to take the Viagra to work its way through these stages that included the first one eye, and then after a while, it included the second person was totally blind by the time the whole thing was over with. I never got to the bottom of those questions, but you can see that the issue of whether you could go blind or not wasn't really the most important issue to that particular individual. Geez, I wonder what was. Anyway, Viagra, another sensory issue, huh? Could blindness was already on the list. Now, hearing is on the list. What if it makes you dumb, too? What if you can't speak? Speech is the next side effect, folks. Look out for this Viagra. It's lethal. It is deadly. Okay, enough of that. Doctors, be very careful in prescribing it. Another thing in the news, and how about this one? Oh, I know you heard this one. This was one that I heard, I think just yesterday, talking about a blood test they now have that shows how long you will live. And this is no joke, folks. This blood test, by the way, I've been familiar with the concept of telomere length, which is the length of a portion of your chromosomes, okay? They're all lined up. They crisscross. They form this little X. And anyway, the telomeres are the legs on the chromosomes. And it turns out, this, by the way, part of it had been known, that has been known for some time, a relationship between the length of the telomere and the longevity of the individual, how long they live. So that scientific fact is not a new one. That scientific fact is a known one and has been known for quite some time. What's new is, as of, and I don't know when it has been released, but there's now a $700 test, which is expected to be on the market in Europe by the end of the year, which uses telomere length to give you a biological age. And this could be years younger. The article goes on to say that I'm reading from right now. Could be years younger or older than your actual age. And the scientists say that the information can provide insight into a person's risk of illness such as heart disease, Alzheimer's, and cancers. Now, there's going to be more on this subject. You better believe it. When it was just something known in science, it was certainly a point that never went unnoticed. But to think that somebody is trying to cash in of this $700 test, who's going to be ordering this test, by the way? See, I think, and it's not my original thought, this is what came out as I was hearing this on the news shows over the last day or so. So the immediate concern has become, hey, are insurers, medical doctors, anybody that stands to gain, life insurance company, medical insurers, health insurers, are they going to be submitting blood to this kind of testing in order to determine the rates? First of all, are they going to determine whether they're going to insure you or not based on telomere length, or your rate? Could it ultimately be based on how long your telomeres are? This shouldn't go completely by the boards. This has to be considered as something that could be the outgrowth of this test becoming available, because what was just a scientific notation before has now been taken to the next level. It's going to be marketed in Europe. I guess things always start there in Europe. And let's just see what happens with this $700 test. I bet you it turns out to become a lot cheaper than that. Are you gonna ask for it? Would you, listener, want to get this blood test so you know what your biological age is? And by the way, they say it could differ considerably from your chronological age. And will those who make decisions about you and charge you for the outcome of those decisions be very interested in what your telomere length actually is? So, that was another one coming up. Folks, thanks for being aboard today. Appreciate having you along. This is a Friday version of the show. Yes, we're getting bongoed in the background, signaling our time out of here. Hope you're all hearing me well, loud and clear. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's going to heat up around here, folks. 82 by Sunday. See you on Monday. Don't forget, Cass Ingram's going to be our guest, talking about the exposure, medical X-ray exposure, and what to do about it. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AIM Impact on Your Health.